Also, I had a thought. If I end up going to Comic-Con, I'm wanting to make content there, obviously. It's going to be very difficult for audio to get through. And I thought I could wear this on the inside of my costume. That way it'll still pick up my voice. But also, nobody will be able to see it. Nobody will be able to understand what the fuck I'm saying unless they're actually, intently trying to.
What's up, Deviants? Welcome back to the Naughty Corner. I am Courtney Watts, and this is Quarters in Session. We're a Reddit Reads podcast where game recognizes game. We judge assholes on the internet because we know we've been one. We offer advice on shit situations because we know we've been there, and we're offering Aussie perspectives because you wouldn't know what the fuck we were talking about if we didn't. We are coming to you from the Wanneroo Nation, and I have Ben.
I'm just here for the food.
Shall we get started?
Yes.
With some this DNAans here. Am I the asshole for refusing to give my boyfriend a copy of the key to my deceased friend's place?
No.
My 27 female friend of 15 years, Aaron, male 30, passed away a few weeks ago. He wasn't married nor had a family. I'm the one responsible for his belongings and his apartment. I keep the key with me to visit the apartment every weekend to check on it. My boyfriend noticed and asked to have a copy of the key to the apartment. I was utterly confused by his request. I asked for what, since he and Aaron weren't even close, given that he and I had been dating for 6 months. He got offended and accused me of gatekeeping Aaron's memory. I said I was sorry, but Aaron's apartment has valuable stuff and I cannot risk it going missing. And besides, what business could he possibly have there? He got offended and accused me of implying he's untrustworthy and a thief. I tried to cut the argument, but he kept going on about how hurt his feelings were and showed an incredible amount of distrust towards him. He went home, but he kept texting. He's insisting, saying if I trust him, then I've got to let him have a copy of the key. Am I the asshole for not giving it to him, or am I being unreasonably paranoid?
First of all, don't get like this 6 months into a relationship. Like, you are acting like you're her married husband at this point. You're barely a memory right now. But also, no, this is her friend's place that you don't need to go to. What would be the point in him going there at all?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think you're paranoid enough. Sure, you're probably thinking, I want to go there and see whether or not there's some shit I can sell. If anything, it's probably darker than that. Yeah, no, shit's weird. Even if there was no nefarious intention, just the level of entitlement to it. It's like, I'm sorry, why should by default you have access to every single space that I can access? In all honesty, if he didn't have a relationship with your mate, then gatekeep away. What fucking right does he have to it?
Even if he did have a relationship with your mate, if your mate has specifically told you, hey, this is my stuff, this is my place, take care of it for me after I go, and there are not explicit instructions of who he wants going in or out of there, people don't go in or out of there. There is no need for old mate to be, or old cunt to be going in there.
Key comments. Trust your instincts. Do not give him a copy of the key and don't leave it where he can access it. This is a major red flag and it's time to reevaluate your relationship. He's gaslighting you about your friend who died to access his things. This is not a good guy.
Yeah, this is the kind of guy that key's going to go missing one day for 2 hours, and then you're going to find him in the apartment with a cut key.
So I always try to put myself in the asshole's position. We had an 11-year-old autistic kid that broke a robotic prosthetic leg. And I'm like, I know that possibly would have been me. And in this case, honestly, if there was something similar where I didn't know this person and you were, somewhat close to them, I can picture a world where curiosity would get the better of me, but I wouldn't be asking you for a key. I would ask to come with you, and if you said no, then I would pretty much just take your keys where you were napping and then go and scope the place out for 5 minutes and be like, okay, curiosity satisfied, and then put it back and then never discuss it again. But again, that's even then not now because I've got fucking shit to do. So
I might need to hide keys.
Keys to where, Ben?
To my other apartment where I keep my swords.
I'm the one that has the keys, you don't.
What, to the windows?
Yeah,
To the walls?
You can keep the sweat on your balls.
There's none? I just showered. Going off of your point, there is a big difference between an 11-year-old autistic kid that broke something, who maybe they were overstimulated, maybe they were unstimulated.
They were curious.
That is not a direct intent.
I
Like, they
get
were
that.
not intending to break something. This guy is just intending to be a cunt.
Yeah, regardless of what the reason is, it's not good. Follow-up comment to that original comment. I second this. Like, what does he want in that apartment? Why the weird attitude? You've just lost your best friend. He should be helping you through this, not pushing you to do something you don't want to do. Ditch the loser. He accused OP of implying he was untrustworthy and a thief. I think he told on himself right there. Maybe Aaron had a game system or a watch collection that he was eyeballing. His reaction is too over the top for it to be an innocent reason that he wanted the key. The only other reason I can think of is that he wants to search for evidence of whether OP and her friend were more than friends. He can't fathom a man and a woman having a platonic relationship. That's a possibility, but I agree that it's probably just that he wants to take stuff. Either that or him and Aaron were sleeping together and he wants to go there to dispose of evidence of that.
See, there is only one acceptable reason that he's trying to go in there. There is a running joke between guys of, hey, when I die, destroy my hard drive. You're not allowed to, guys, we're not allowed to tell anyone about it. We're not allowed to tell who that person is that's meant to do it. If one of your, and this goes to the ladies too, if one of your guy friends after your partner dies comes over to your house and just walks straight into their office or gaming room or whatever it is, they know what they're doing. Let them do it.
It was a Taylor, isn't it?
No, it's Matt.
See, I assume...
Actually, no, it's Jono.
Well, see, I'm like, okay, it wouldn't be Matt because Matt's too easy of a choice. And then it could be Jono automatically because he's the one that helped you build the damn thing.
No,
but
that's not why it's Jono, though. It's Jono because it's a mutually assured thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do it for him, he's going to do it for me, we're fine.
Yeah, and like he'd know what he's looking for and shit, but then that also felt like too easy of a circumstance. And honestly, I don't think you'd trust Jono to go through with it. Whereas Taylor he flies under the radar.
Nope.
I wouldn't expect it of him, and that's exactly why you'd choose him.
Nope. Jono would walk straight in, probably wouldn't even say hello. He'd knock on the door, wait till be let in, walk into the office, pull the hard drive out, and take him like 3 seconds to do it, walk into the bathroom, put it in the toilet, walk back out. He doesn't need to be subtle about it. He would just get the job done.
But also then what's even the point? Like, for starters, I now already know there's something on that hard drive. By the time he got here, it wouldn't be there anymore.
There isn't actually anything on the hard drive. It's
I know.
Just
I was like, also, if anything was on the hard drive, I already know it was there. Anything in the cloud, I know it's there. Like,
I don't keep shit in the cloud. The only time I keep shit in the cloud is when I accidentally forget to disconnect the cloud. Because then I end up... There was a point where I'd accidentally installed all my games to the cloud because it was just installing to desktop. I kept on getting notifications saying, hey, we can't allow any more emails through because your cloud space is full. Disconnect your computer's desktop from the cloud.
Whatever's there, you don't need it. You definitely don't want whoever owns that cloud space being able to access it in this day and age.
I was just my games. Not even the save files.
Next up. I came home after a 10-hour shift to my apartment in a mess, my baby screaming, and my 8-year-old trying to feed her.
Is this the dude that's trying to sleep while his wife's out working?
I'm leaving him. This is the last fucking straw. Worked a long shift, came home, and there was trash and food everywhere. My child, 8 male, runs up to me covered in stains and baby formula saying, "Sis is crying real bad. She's hungry. I'm sorry. I tried to feed her." I rush in the nursery and sure enough, my daughter's diaper is full. She's screaming and crying, face red, literally still in her crib. The room is messy with baby formula and chips. I later learned from my son that he had tried to make a bottle for her but didn't know how. So he tried to feed her potato chips to calm her down, but she couldn't eat them. He'd been trying to open the door to me and my husband's bedroom. It was locked the whole time while he was in there sleeping. I asked him if he ate and he said not really, just chips, and he tried to take all the food out of the fridge to make something to eat. After feeding and changing my 6-month-old, I literally almost tear that bedroom door down trying to get him to open it, and he opens the door all groggy and says, "What do you want?" clearly annoyed. I tear him a new one and scream at him that our children haven't eaten all day because his lazy ass couldn't wake up and care for them. He just stares at me dumbfounded and is like, "Oh my bad, I thought they ate before you went to work." Violence. I'm crying at this point. He stayed up all night playing video games and promised he'd wake up and stay up for the kids. I should have known better. I told him I wasn't going to get our kids taken away because of him and that we were over. I'm shaking. Literally, I've never been so mad in my life. And all he can say is, sorry. I don't know where I'm going, but I have to leave. I hugged my son, told him he did his best, and I was proud of him for taking care of his sister. So sad he even had to do that. I wouldn't try to unlock the door.
She didn't. She tried to break the door down.
Mm-hmm.
That requires forethought because you need to get the kids out first. She just wanted to get to that guy.
If necessary, I can have some forethought.
Yes.
Arson. Sure that, yes, violence is never the answer, but we only say that for legal reasons. History books say otherwise.
Fuck, what's the thing? It needs to be drawn and quartered. Unfortunately, his bloodline is continuing because children. But there is a special place in jail for these kind of people.
And they don't last long.
It's us, dancing on that guy's grave. This is the most deplorable kind of bullshit that people can do.
And, this is exactly the kind of guy who is going to try and go for, full custody, even though he doesn't even know who his fucking kids' doctors are.
Yeah, and he's also going to blame all of this on her. Oh, she shouldn't have been gone for so long. Oh, it's just so stressful with her working constantly. What am I meant to do? What?
Picturing it more like, she should have fed them before she left. And it's like, cool, that still means they need active fucking supervision for the standard 8 hours of the day that she was gone.
Any kid, let alone a 6-month-old baby, needs to eat more than once every 8 hours. Like, the only time a child of any age is going more than 8 hours without eating, it's when they're fucking asleep. A 6-month kid who's been sat in their shit all day, not eaten, and your 8-year-old is having to parent. I want to know where this guy lives.
I'm picturing the vindication of once making sure my kids were okay, just calling up every cunt this motherfucker knows.
I do know somebody that could happily take care of him, though. Famously likes to say, would you like to play a game?
Can you imagine, if this was one of y'all, just how quickly the rest of you would descend upon them?
I'd send voice messages to a group chat that person is still in, telling everyone, hey, we need to get to this house. We need to take care of a problem. We need to go see that person and absolutely ruin his life.
And he's like, that's it. You fucked up. We're her husbands now. We're raising your fucking kids. You're getting the fuck out. You're not going to cause a problem anymore. Right? No problems.
I'm about to spank you so hard you're going to be calling me daddy.
Especially because it was the up all night gaming thing. Every dad within your group are all gamers, and you make a point of doing so responsibly to make sure that you are able to be active and present parents.
Yeah. There is one instance, in my case, where that was an exception, which is when, I can't remember what it was a thing for, but I did the 12-hour straight stream. And even then...
We planned that out, though.
Yeah. That is the most irresponsible I've gamed in the entire time we've been together. But even then, it was I'm going to stream for 12 hours straight, and I'm sorry for not being able to help with the kids the next day. But if I try and help with the kids, I'm either going to be loud, aggressive, just a problem.
But how is that any different to, say, me going away for a conference? You're essentially here by yourself for a solid 2 days straight anyway. So again, that's just the give and take of supporting each other. I'm
just saying that's the closest to irresponsible I've ever been in our relationship with gaming.
We've got an edit. If you say, well, you chose to have kids with him, you're just as bad for choosing to have kids with him. I know you're not an adult and or lack critical thinking skills.
Hey, if you're saying this, I want you to think for a second. If you sit down at a table with 9 Nazis and don't say anything about it, does that not make you a 10th Nazi? Sorry, it was right there.
The mum clarifies in an edit. Thank you. This will be my only comment, so I'm taking the top comment to explain some stuff. No, he wasn't always a lazy man who played video games. Back when we got married, he was a good guy, had a stable job, and genuinely cared about me. I was madly in love and we were stable, so that's why I had children with him. To explain the reason I had the second kid, even when the little flag started to show, she was an unplanned pregnancy, but he begged me to keep her. I wasn't necessarily against this, so I did. I wish everyone would stop insinuating I knew he was like this and thought a baby would change him or some crap like that. This was also the first and only time he's neglected our children like this. I will be putting my son in therapy. This is not directed at the kind person whose comment I'm replying to. Thank you again for your words.
Yeah, I do appreciate that she is stating that this is the only time this has happened
And
as a defense for herself.
Yeah, and she's pulling the trigger immediately.
Yeah, it's I haven't been around him doing this shit, so there is no prior engagement of it. This is the first and last time it will be happening because we are getting ourselves out of this dangerous situation. Also, I have one issue, but it's more of the phrasing of this than anything else. Gamers can be good guys too. The way that's phrased just makes it sound like gamers are bad guys.
That's it. It's a not all men situation. And also it was a lazy man who played video games, so it wasn't even described as gamers.
Okay.
It's yeah.
Not all gamers are lazy.
Men.
Not all people who play video games are lazy.
Yeah. But again, the presumption is that if you're not one of those, you wouldn't have to say it. You'd know it wasn't targeted at you.
I'm just too sensitive about shit.
Update. I tried to update as quickly as I could. Thank you for your patience. Look at my profile for the first one. You can't. It's all deleted now. It's really hard to track this shit down. I asked him to leave the apartment. We're both on the lease technically, but I really didn't care at that point. Said he needed to leave or I'd tell the police that he failed to care for our 2 children. He got super angry with me, said it was a mistake and it wouldn't happen again. I said I didn't care, pack your shit and go stay with your dad. Needless to say, after some intense arguing, he went on a rampage, destroying stuff around the apartment. Let me guess. Not a single one of it was his stuff. TV, dishes, mirrors. He made a complete mess of our room and living room. I just let him. I was recording everything anyway. My son came out asking what was going on and I told him to lock himself in the nursery with his sister. I didn't think he would try to do anything with them, but I read way too many stories. I had to stop recording to call the police. I yelled at him to calm down because the police were on their way. And all I will say is he put his hands on me and I had to fight him off. I apologize if this is triggering at all. I'm trying to water it down. He did get arrested and all 3 of us were relatively unharmed. I just have some light bruises on my arm. My mum is taking the kids so I can attempt to get the apartment cleaned and replace what I can afford. Sorry, this isn't the happy ending you were all wanting. I felt as though it was important to update since so many of you were worried, but we are fine. My son has just been oddly quiet and I feel awful. Hopefully, I can take him out for a treat or something soon when I get this mess sorted out.
Look, this isn't a happy ending because of that explosion. This is the best ending, though.
I don't know, it probably could have gone better.
No, this guy was always going to man-child and explode.
Yeah, all the more reason I probably would have called my mum to get the kids out of the house first.
Fair. Also, I really hope her way of fighting him off was kick him in the dick. I don't hope that on many men. This one I'll make an exception for.
I'm not mad, whatever she managed to get her hands on, or anything else.
Some people shouldn't be allowed to own penises. And not because they aren't...
Or share their DNA.
See, that's not even what I'm going with. I'm more just going with, if you are going to do this kind of heinous shit, people should be within their legal rights to remove your dick.
But then what would be the non-penis owner equivalent? Because this kind of heinous shit can be done by anyone.
I don't know. I'm a penis holder. I'm just looking at it from this guy. You know that he didn't damage his computer or whatever he games on. I don't want to advocate for the destruction of consoles. If you get a Phillips head screwdriver, you can, in most cases for both PlayStation and Xbox, remove the hard drive from the console. If you do, that has all their save files and all their progress on everything on it. Destroy that. Then you can get a new hard drive and put it back in there. Still works perfectly fine. You and your friends can still play it, and that fucks with them and everything they've made for it. Used to be so much easier in the 360 days. You could just press a button, came straight off.
You donate it to like the local kids group home for Christmas.
Come on, get some kids games. She's got an 8-year-old.
Yeah, but I don't want him to have access to it again, and I don't want him having a go at the kid because the kid has access to his gaming console.
Okay. If it's in her house, that guy never needs to know that it's there.
He possibly could, though. And if there has to be some sort of divorce and child support proceeding or whatever, he could sue her for the return of his property. So if anything, if it was me, I would just destroy it and be like, he went on a rampage and destroyed the fucking thing. It was damaged in the crossfire. Don't know what to tell you.
I understand that, but at the same time, this guy's not going to go for that because the moment he does that, he goes to jail.
He's already going to jail.
Yes, but fair. He's not getting out until his console is considerably outdated because of child neglect.
You're right. He would fucking care about that.
Yeah. Child neglect, it's hindrance to a minor. It's not injury. No, I feel like child neglect's just covering it. I feel like there's a middle ground between child neglect and assaulting a minor.
Yeah. I mean, she and the kids got out of there, which is really all we could have hoped for, honestly. Like, it could have fucking went worse.
Cheers, uses.
Like, again, this was why it's like, all right, well, while that cunt's asleep, I'm getting every piece of backup that I've got in this fucking house, specifically to avoid that shit, but also simultaneously escalate some shit, but also have witnesses that makes me...
Fuck, I wish I was wearing my I'm just here to establish an alibi shirt right now. Just remember, if you are going to try and castrate anything, you heat up the knife first so it cauterizes a bit. A lot less likely for people to die of blood loss.
See, now that makes it sound like you're encouraging it.
No, I'm talking about specifically for if you're trying to take care of male animals on farms.
Yeah, but the wording that you used, to prevent someone from bleeding out.
I'm sorry,
that assumes the person.
I see the animals on the farm as part of the family. They may as well be people.
Alrighty, with a pick your poison. I wear a burqa/niqab as a disguise on the regular, or I almost hooked up with a crossdresser and it's making me feel terrible.
We're going with the crossdresser, but part of me does really want the hijab/burqa. What was the other?
Burqa/niqab. Yeah.
Niqab. Sorry, I said hijab, not niqab. I really hope that's a guy just rocking around, completely covering themselves up, just doing makeup around the eyes, because if you ever see somebody in a full burqa that's, you look at their eyes, fucking immaculate. Every time. Because it's the only form of self-expression they can actually get. But yeah, I really hope it's just a guy that's just done his eyes on fucking point.
Opening up with, by the way, I'm not homophobic or transphobic, in all caps.
Sure you are, bud.
We'll be the judge of that. Don't care what people do with their bodies or what. That's their business, not mine. That being said, my family are very anti-gay, so that's probably contributing to this. Anyway, I'll keep it short. I'm a uni student. I went out Wednesday, student night in Australia.
No, student night in Newcastle, not student night everywhere.
So they could be super fucking close. And honestly, Newcastle is a pretty big queer hub. We're an arts hub, so it's very much a thing.
Could also be Melbourne.
I saw the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life, 10 toes down, better than any film or magazine. Almost inhuman. I stared at her and it was embarrassing because I couldn't form a single word. We just hit it off. Even though I was so starstruck, I've never felt that in my life. The connection was crazy. It was like we'd known each other for years or something and we were reuniting. She took me home and I got way too nervous to do anything with her, though she was offering. I'm not some virgin or anything. I've had sex plenty. She was just like, I don't know. I didn't want her to just be a drunken hookup. She was fine with that. We just spoke more. And then she was telling me she'd boy mode before she went home, so she'd be fine walking. I was like, what the fuck is boy moding? And she was like, what? Take off the drag, go back to being a guy. However she said it. So yeah, she's a he. Not trans, doesn't live as a woman, just dresses as one occasionally and to go out for fun. He said he thought I knew. I love how he's just immediately switched the pronoun.
Well, to be fair, dude went boy mode now. Fuck yeah, queen. Slay.
He said he thought I knew because it's apparently obvious, and apparently we've even actually met before while she was a guy, but I did not fucking know. I didn't remember. I embarrassed myself and started freaking out a tad. I don't know why. Was asking him/her not to tell anyone, etc. He was cool about it, laughed at me. That was kind of that. He left. I found his Instagram and shit, he is indeed a man. A very feminine looking and pretty man, but you would still look at him and think, man, I feel like I've done something wrong, but I liked him. I want to see him again. But I don't know if I'm just attracted to the cross-dressing stuff or him as a person. I'm very confused and I don't want to lead anyone on or anything. Am I fucking gay? I mean, you're not straight, sweetheart, but also does it matter? Do you need the label? I understand that you're unpacking some shit and it's you're already many, 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 many steps ahead of people who are only just starting on this journey simply by recognizing that you've got shit to unpack and that you're not automatically oh my God, that's just terrible. Hopefully with whatever happens with this guy, you make sure that he's aware of where you're at Because obviously it's just not fair to have, someone else's
Baggage.
sense of safety and well-being. Like they can't be emotionally carrying you through that. It's just not fair.
But also, as going back to the original point of this, hot is hot. Like, it just, whenever this kind of thing pops up, two things have popped to my mind from this. One's a bit of a story time, one's just a reference. It just makes me think of the Todd from Scrubs, who, for a long time, he's just the token man whore, which honestly sounds like this could be that guy, especially with the, I'm not a virgin, I definitely had lots of sex before. Like, sure you have, bud. The Todd is very much a situation of people think he was gay, so he's like, yeah, that guy's hot. That girl's hot. Hot is hot. What are you? I'm the Todd. But this also brings me to the story time where a guy I used to know in uni, his name was Cookie, giant metalhead fella who also used to knock around with the queer community. And one year, him and his best mate go down to Mardi Gras in Sydney. And his best mate picked up this girl at one of the clubs at post Pride Parade. And he comes up to Cookie and he's like, hey, can you make yourself scarce? She wants me to go home with her. And he's like, sorry, back to our hotel room. And he's like, yeah, I'll find somewhere else to stay for the night. You do you, which, legend Cookie. Putting yourself out on the street for just...
When you've specifically bought a hotel room during fucking Mardi Gras. Like...
Yeah. Mind you, this was fucking decades and a half ago.
Sydney's always been expensive.
I know, but he rocks up the next day, like 8 o'clock in the morning, because he's like, yeah, this is a respectful time to be able to come in. If they're still doing something tough shit, it's 8 o'clock in the fucking morning. Comes in, showers running, sees his mate, and he's like, oh, mate, this was a fucking great night. We hooked up, but it was kind of weird because she'd only let me stick it in the butt. And that's immediately just popped in his head. And he's like, oh, okay. And he waits and still fully done up because they've obviously done themselves up. Because Mardi Gras is a multi-day event. I don't know if it's the same everywhere else, but in Australia, it's a couple of weeks long all up. They've come back up, fully done up. And he's just looked them up and down. He's like, can I see it? They're just like, yeah, sure. Whips their towel off. And as Cookie liked to end the story, I wasn't disappointed that they had a dick. I was disappointed that it was bigger than mine. His friend also thought he was straight. You can still be straight in this situation. Hot is hot.
Yeah, again, like when it comes to your straight dudes, yeah, they all think they're straight until they hit prison. Honestly, most straight men are really just more golden retrievers. They're just in it for the holes. They don't fucking care where they are or what they're doing.
Yeah. There was a guy I met when I was living in Coffs. I used to live in a hostel in Coffs Harbour for a year and a bit. And one of the guys I met there was straight before he started backpacking. When I talked to him about it, he's like, I just want to be able to get my dick sucked. And he's just opening his pool. Told me, as soon as I go back home where I know I'll be able to find someone to settle down with, I won't hook up with the guys again. But at the moment, if a guy's willing to suck me off, a guy's willing to suck me off. Nothing gay about getting your dick sucked.
I mean, there can be plenty gay about getting your dick sucked. It's just, it may not be relevant to your romantic relationships.
There's a difference between homosexual and homo-romantic.
Key comments. Don't worry about what you are, OP. It's okay whether you're straight, bi, gay, curious, whatever, so long as you treat this person with respect and you're kind to each other.
Yeah, heteroflexibility is a good thing.
Yeah, OP, what matters is you vibed and connected. Doesn't really matter what label fits who. Just treat them like any other person who made you feel something real. I love how it's not just, you are fucking transphobic, you are fucking homophobic. Like, it is just people that were like, we see you, we understand. Like there isn't even anyone pulling up the cross-dressing really isn't the appropriate word here. No, we don't really use that anymore.
Well, how old is that post?
2025.
Fair enough then.
Yeah, less than a year old.
This guy, I feel like, doubled down a little bit. He's like, I got into this situation, and then rather than coming out of the closet, he's taken a couple of steps further into it, just to be like, I'm not gay or anything, but I did have a very romantic evening with another dude.
If you thought and were operating under the impression that he was a she, then you're straight. If you still like him now, then you might be bi, but you've caught the gay. Best get yourself to the ER. In seriousness, you're good. Stop stressing. Pretty man appeared as a pretty woman, and your lizard brain simply saw a pretty woman and acted on it. Truth came out, nothing happened, and everyone was cool with it and moved on. It's not like you had his dick in your mouth before you found out. Even if you did, it's 2025. You're still all good. You could be gay, bi, or just mildly startled. I think it's really just, I think this is a common reaction to pretty much anyone realizing that sexuality and labels around any of your queer stuff just really doesn't fucking matter, and that none of it is static. Everyone, as humans, adapt or die, man. If you're doing it right, you should be growing and changing all the time. And so what made sense to you yesterday, you may not feel the same way tomorrow. That doesn't mean the world has changed in any way or that you were getting something wrong. It just means your understanding has shifted slightly.
I would disagree slightly. I believe that for a person, labels are important, but a label should be like D&D alignment, because D&D alignment should never be, this is what I am constantly. It should always be flowing and changing, and it's just a good, like, this is my current benchmark. It is important for a lot of people to be able to say, hey, I'm gay, hey, I'm bi, hey, I'm gender fluid or agender or anything else on the multiple spectrums. The moment that person decides they want to change their label, that's when the old label doesn't matter anymore. For a person, that label can be, especially a person that's newly trying or newly coming out of the closet, that label can be the most important thing in the world to them.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm talking like in this day and age, that's why those labels are so critically important. But in the grand scheme of things, when we get to a place in society when we realize none of that shit actually matters, that is when the labels will essentially fall away, because there's going to be no need for the conversations around it, because the consideration of who's fucking who and what's in whose pants is just going to not be part of a conversation anymore, because it's not going to be relevant.
Yeah, weirdly enough, we need to go back in time, not forward in time. Go back to ancient Greece, which is like, yeah, I'm just going to hook up with whoever.
Everyone was fucking everyone. It didn't fucking matter. The non-binaries and our intersex peoples were considered closer to the gods because they had aspects of both sexes, and that made them deified.
Yeah, we want everyone to be a little bit of Diana and a little bit of Apollo.
I mean, that's Rome, not Greece.
To be fair, Apollo's both.
Yes, it is.
And I just couldn't think of Artemis at the moment.
All right, we are getting into some fucked around and found out. And we are kicking off with one that I have to put a caveat on. Chloe, turn it off. You can't watch this one. I mean it. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Hey.
No.
Look at me.
No. Skip it.
No.
Move on to the next story. Move on to the next story.
Courtney,
Don't argue with me. You're not watching it.
Courtney, I'll have a timestamp for when it's safe for Chloe to come back in the comments. Or in the description.
So there is a trigger warning for sexual assault. I've been getting revenge on the man who raped me as a child for years and can't tell anyone. The assaults happened several times when I was a little kid. I told the people around me and no one believed me. I later found out he was assaulting several of my friends and sisters, religious upbringing, so big families in the community. Let's call the PDF file James. Fast forward 15 years and a lot of therapy later, I contacted the police department in the city where it happened and the city where he lives now. He was a family friend, so I know some of the people around him. But since it's beyond the statute of limitations, they can't or won't do anything. I've talked to lawyers and therapists about ways I can warn people around him, since I know he has a very small daughter and worked in a position teaching young children. But I can't do much without possibly facing defamation charges. The family of the guy is very wealthy and has a lot of connections, so a legal battle would be a losing one from the start. See, this is why you need to have friends in other countries, so you can come and tell your friendly neighborhood Courtney everything you know, and I can talk shit about him, and you're protected, and he can't fucking get to me because I'm in another country.
On the flip side, your government needs to do what Australia does, and we have statute of limitations. We don't have it for federal crimes. Like, if you steal something that's over a certain value, statute of limitations no longer exists for you. That there is no statute of limitations for in Australia.
I think because it's minors involved. If it was, like, if she was an adult, then yeah, we do. This really weighed on me for a long time, and I felt a lot of guilt for not being able to help any of his other victims. I spent hours documenting where he works, where he lives, his co-workers, his community. With a little digging, I found out the layout of his house, where he banks, where his kids go to school, and where he does his grocery shopping. He lives across the country now, so there's not much I can do physically, and I recognize this is pretty psychotic. I'm glad we're a self-aware queen. And obsessive behavior that probably isn't very healthy, but imagining ways I could get my revenge and being able to actually have the tools to do so at my fingertips helped give me some sense of control over the situation. I would never do anything to harm the people close to him or do anything additionally volatile. I would especially never do anything to harm his children or make anyone at his kids' school feel unsafe. This is between him and I, and I'm very intentional about not continuing the cycle of trauma, just giving an eye for an eye. Something should probably be said about how much personal info a person can find if they really want to. Be careful what you post online. Anyway, I finally reach a point where I called his cell phone. Don't really know why I did. Part of me thinks it's because I wanted to make sure I was right about the information I'd procured. I didn't even have anything to say, so he picked up the phone, it was the right number, said hello, and I just silently listened on the line. I hadn't heard his voice in over a decade, so that was really jarring and made me feel kind of frozen. I wasn't really trying to stay quiet or anything, and I think at some point he heard me breathing because he sounded kind of weirded out, muttered, and hung up the phone. This gave me an idea. For about 3 years now, I've been calling him semi-regularly, but without any pattern, so he can't anticipate the next one. For a while, I just do heavy breathing and weird him out. Then I got kind of creative with it and started saying creepy religious shit with a voice changer app on my phone, saying things like, "What are the wages of sin, James?" And will the prodigal son be welcomed home when his path is littered with the nightmares of God's children, James? Stuff that honestly probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but he started sounding really scared after I started doing that. His family are the MAGA conservative, Alex Jones paranoid conspiracy type, so I figured it was enough to rattle him, even if it was basically nonsense. At one point, he tried to fight back and said something along the lines of, "I don't know who this is, but you need to stop calling me." And that really pissed me off, honestly, because it's my revenge and I'll be damned if he gets in the way of me enjoying making him squirm. I told him I'd stop calling him within a fortnight or something old-time ghosty sounding like that.
Well, just British.
Americans. My calls would simply be moved to his employer and they'd face the wrath of all the little girls he's touched. He got really quiet after that and then hung up after a few seconds. This kind of peeved me off too because he hung up on me, so I anonymously emailed his employer anyway and let them know about his history. I don't know about the details of what went down, but I do know that he no longer works there, and his job change happened very shortly after my email. Now when I call him, I wait a few seconds so he can't tell if it's me calling again or someone who actually needs to talk to him, and the satisfaction I get from hearing the edge of fear in his voice when he repeats that hello a second time has been slowly healing the younger me that was hurt and not protected. He's never tried to tell me to stop again. He's changed his number countless times, then I always find it again within a few days of me realizing it's been changed. Before anyone mentions it in the comments, his wife knows, his parents know, his family knows, his pastor knows, his friends know. Everyone protects him because he's asked for God's forgiveness. But he has yet to ask for forgiveness from any of his victims or fully own up to what he did. They all watered it down to being a misunderstanding and him being too physically affectionate. That's not the truth of what happened, not even close. The only reason I don't mention exposing him to everyone in his life right now is because they already know and don't care. Sometimes I want to shout out to the world and share the joy of this part of my healing process, but as long as I don't tell anyone, there's no way he can ever find out through the grapevine that it's me and experience a moment of relief from the unknown. As long as I live, he'll never get the privilege of forgetting what he did. It gives me peace to know the only way he'll ever access that is in death, just like me. This is a throwaway account for obvious reasons. Believe kids, they don't lie about things like that. Have a good day.
This is a throwaway account for criminal reasons. That was a lot.
I'm satisfied. Though the comments do have quite a lot of wonderful options. May I suggest soon, James? And then just hang up. When I tell you this would have me shitting my pants.
Yeah.
If you haven't already thrown the account away, I'm curious as to how you continue to find his updated cell number. Social media? Your data is constantly being logged by just about every app you use. Everything is always on the internet, even when he updates it. Will the imps of hell touch you the way you touched those girls, James? The fact James isn't able to narrow down who is calling demonstrates he's committed these acts on many different victims.
Yep.
He'd know it was you straight away, if it had only been you. Someone's just like, you are my hero. Can you sign him up to all sorts of marketing programs so he gets weird shit delivered to his house? Or they can buy bulk sets of keys off of eBay or something and write his phone number on them and scatter them around?
See, if you're going to sign him up for a bunch of things, you sign them up for specific things. SA support group pamphlets and stuff like that. Needs to be all very poignant.
God damn. Honestly, I think Jesus himself would approve of this.
Look, if you really want to fuck with him, you send his information and a brief descriptor of what's happened to whatever the local Satanist chapter is, because they'll sort his ass out.
I know what you're doing is absolutely illegal, but I don't mind a fucking bit.
As a policeman, I'm okay with this.
Now, this one is serious, but also satisfying. Am I the asshole for refusing to do anything when my niece beat up my daughter?
Also, welcome back, Chloe.
I, 45 male, have a daughter, 14, Cindy. I also have a niece, Alexa, who's the same age. They go to the same school but have separate friend groups and aren't close. I also have a 20-year-old nephew, Jimmy, who has special needs. Alexa is protective of her older brother. Cindy's not the nicest person, and I try to do things that fix her behavior, but I can't. Recently, Jimmy had a birthday party and he got a Steam Deck. He isn't very social, so after cake and ice cream, he went by himself to play on it. He went to the bathroom and when he got back, the game was gone. Everyone helped look for it, but Jimmy was so stressed, so my sister ended the party. Later that night, my niece comes to my house. She runs to my daughter's room as she was laying on her bed and pulled the game from a drawer under her bed. Alexa then asked why the hell she stole her brother's game. Cindy said it's not like he even understands how to use it. Alexa instantly punched her in the face and then dragged her by her hair off the bed and continued to punch her in the face. Me and my wife managed to separate them. Alexa just walked out of the house. Cindy was on the floor crying, asking what we were going to do. Then I got a call from my sister cursing me out and telling me
nothing.
That Cindy is no longer welcome at her home and that I better be lucky she isn't pressing charges. My wife thinks I should tell my sister to punish Alexa. I told her I'm not going to enable our daughter's behavior and that I'm taking her phone until she apologizes to my sister. And Jimmy and my wife said I should be protecting my daughter. I told her I am and that she just got a taste of the real world if she continues her behavior.
Oh, 100%. This girl got what she fucking
How much
deserved.
did you pay for your Steam Deck?
I don't have a Steam Deck. I have a ROG Ally, which is slightly more expensive than a Steam Deck. Steam Decks go for somewhere between $650 Australian and $1,000, depending on which version you get.
You hit that $1,000 mark, you're into that's felony larceny.
Yes. She got what she fucking deserved. Like, if you're going to steal from family, especially something that's a birthday present on their birthday, especially something that is such a big thing for them, you deserve to get your ass kicked. And your family are the ones that should be doing it.
And what do you mean he doesn't know how to use it? You were literally there while he was fucking using it.
No, from the way it seems, he was about to use it, went to the bathroom, and she stole it while he was in the bathroom. So by the sounds of things, he didn't get a chance to. But also, props to this dad. Like, it takes a lot of balls to be able to not only stand up. This is a Neville Longbottom situation. It takes a lot of guts to stand up to your enemies, so much more to stand up to your friends, even more so to stand up to your kids when they're the one that just got their ass kicked.
Takes a lot of courage to stand up to your teenage daughter, even more to stand up to your wife.
Yeah, it's something I like to tell kids a lot. Especially year 6 kids. There's a point where a lot of kids get to where they're in year 6. In Australia, year 6 is the last year that we're in primary school or elementary school for those of you in the freedom states. I don't know if it's the same over there, but when people get to be the oldest kids in their school, their head gets fucking huge.
Yeah.
And I've had to have a conversation with real 12-year-olds because they're little assholes.
Like, boy, you ain't a big fish in a small pond anymore.
No. Specifically in year 6. Because it is hey, if you take this mentality in next year, someone's going to kick your ass because you are currently a big fish in the little pond. But next year, you go back to being a guppy. They will just...
With great whites.
Yeah, they will just... You're barely even worth the notice, but if you make yourself worth the notice, it ain't going to go well for you.
Well, we do have like some comments post-judgment. The judgment was that this dad was the asshole, but not for the reason he asked. So it was, am I the asshole for refusing to do anything when my niece beat up my daughter? People are like, no, you're not the asshole for that. You are the asshole for the fact that your daughter is this way in general. Because the fact that your wife is pushing to do this and you're saying like you can't change her behavior, you're not fucking trying then. You need to be a significantly more present parent to shut this shit down. It never would have gotten this far if he had, is the general vibes of the comment section.
I feel like if he had done what was necessary to stop his daughter from getting this way, going from the way his wife's talking, he would be divorced by now. But also, he'd probably have a much more well-adjusted daughter.
I explained what had happened. My sister didn't apologize for Alexa's actions immediately. Instead, she focused on Cindy. I'll handle Alexa's violence, my sister said, but you need to be honest with yourself. Jimmy's game is his entire world, and Cindy knew that, and she's been cruel to him before. The real reason you froze is that you knew Cindy deserved a consequence for that kind of behaviour, and you haven't been able to deliver one that sticks. So everyone's right. I had known for years that Cindy was a bully, prone to stealing and emotional cruelty, and despite my trying to fix her behaviour, I had ultimately failed to enforce real boundaries or consequences. Today, my sister concluded, someone else did your job for you. I realise I was the asshole, not primarily for the few seconds I hesitated during the fight, but my systematic failure as a father. I've allowed Cindy's moral compass to spin out of control until someone else had to violently correct it. Welp, shit.
Either way, let this kid get her fucking shit rocked. It does remind me of back when I was working in the primary school 2.5 years ago, where there was a specific kid who I was told to, if he's about to get into a fight, I have a bad habit of jumping in before fights start, and I was told explicitly, jump in after the first hit gets thrown, because it's the only way they're going to fucking learn. Yes, they are correct. Against my better judgment, it almost happened. Mind you, this kid was the one that threw the first punch and then got his shit rocked. He reminded me of the little kid from Stuart Little, except physically looked like that kid, except Stuart Little's size. You have done fucked up by letting your kid get this way. And let's be real, it's not just you. Your wife is also done fucked up by letting your kid get this way. You just gotta be on it now. You've got a much harder road to go down now because she is already this way and now you're trying to course adjust. And that's a fucking strong stream you're going to be pushing against. But it doesn't mean that that can't be fixed.
Yeah. And we don't actually know what this guy tried to do. What these attempts did look like. If the wife attempted to sabotage it, and if so, what that sabotage looked like. But there are very real instances out there where the parents do everything they can possibly think of. They're not trying to hide shit behind closed doors. They're actively trying to get support from community and other places in an attempt to kind of sort behavior like this out. And ultimately, it just doesn't work because teenagers are teenagers.
And sometimes people are just assholes.
And this kind of reaction is the only thing that works. I mean, in this instance, the fact that the dad just did kind of take his judgment for exactly what it was tells me that he agrees that there was more that he could have done that he didn't, especially, again, in this day and age, there are only so many things that parents can do.
Yes. I just want to find out what you're an asshole is in Latin. Because I know it's not e pluribus anus. It is systematically becoming a harder thing to try and discipline kids.
I just hate that word.
I know.
But it's just that
when some
kids
care. It is getting harder to do whatever you want to call it. It is getting harder to try and do the course correction. Because the slightest, if you're off by 2 degrees, that's going to be a fucking huge gap by the time they're 15. This has been a sad way to end it.
Given that we are in high schools quite a lot, I still do see things that tell me the kids are going to be all right. And that in a lot of ways, they are so much better than us.
Oh yeah, it is very much a kids will be all right, specific kids won't.
Until they get their shit rocked. And in some cases, it's got to happen. It's the only thing that works.
In some cases, it still doesn't work.
I don't know. We've had the sibling justice discussions, and who hasn't fucking punched on with a cousin before?
Oh,
really?
I had a situation a couple of weeks ago where a kid got shoved into a balcony. The other kid that was shoving him was going off at him. And I walked up to try and stop it. And it's like, so that's my brother who's been being a dick to me all day. I'm like, you get an extra 20 seconds. That's all I can give you. My male cousins, they used to, they love each other so fucking much. And they show it in the funniest fucking ways. Because when they were younger, they used to go out drinking together constantly. And they'd go to they just go to the pub, but their pub is like a half-hour drive from their house because there weren't any good pubs in North Dwarf. What would happen though was they'd both get shit-faced, having driven there in one car. And then they'd get into a punch-up over who was driving home because both of them believed the other one was too drunk to drive. So like, no, I'm going to drive because I'm obviously soberer than you are. No, I'm going to drive. Mind you, this is before Ubers were a thing, and taxis don't really go out that way.
And even if they did, they wouldn't let people that drunk in the car.
Around there they would have. It's redhead.
Well, it's been a day. We're going to head out.
But